Have you ever felt so alone that it seems like the whole world has forgotten you? Nights when your stomach is empty, your room is silent, and you wonder if your prayers even reach heaven. Many people experience moments like these, moments when life feels unfair and hope feels distant. But sometimes the quietest moments of our lives are the moments when something extraordinary is about to begin. This is the story of a boy named Samuel. Samuel lived in a small village surrounded by endless fields and dusty roads. The houses were simple, the people hard-working, and life moved slowly. Everyone knew each other in that village, or at least they thought they did. Samuel lived at the edge of the village in a tiny wooden hut that looked like it could fall apart with one strong wind. The roof leaked when it rained, and the walls creaked when the wind blew across the fields. But for Samuel, it was still home. Samuel had not always been alone. When he was younger, his father worked in the farms nearby. His hands were rough from years of labor, but he always returned home with a tired smile. His mother was gentle and warm. She would sing soft songs while cooking simple meals and remind Samuel to always trust God, even during difficult times. But life can change without warning. A sickness came to the village one year. First, it took Samuel's father. A few months later, his mother grew weak and followed the same path. After that, Samuel was alone. At an age when other children were playing and learning in school, Samuel was learning how to survive. He worked wherever he could find work. Some days he carried water for farmers. Other days he helped cut wood or clean animal barns. Sometimes he earned a few coins. Other days he earned nothing but a small bowl of soup. Hunger became something he learned to live with. Loneliness became his daily companion. But before his mother passed away, she had given him one lesson he never forgot. One evening, when their food was very little, she broke a piece of bread in half and handed some to a neighbor who had even less. Samuel had asked her why she would give away food when they were already hungry. She smiled gently and said, "Samuel, when you have little, share a little. Kindness is the one treasure no hardship can steal." Those words stayed in his heart. Years later, they still guided him. One afternoon, after a long day of work in the fields, Samuel walked home with a small cloth bag in his hands. Inside the bag was a piece of bread and a little rice he had earned from helping a farmer repair a fence. It wasn't much, but it was enough for dinner. As he walked along the quiet river path, he felt exhausted. The golden sun was setting, and the air carried the cool breeze of evening. For the first time that day, Samuel felt a small sense of relief. Tonight, he would eat. But as he turned a corner along the path, he noticed an old man sitting on a stone near the river. The man looked weak and tired. His clothes were dusty, and his hands trembled as he held a walking stick. When Samuel approached, the old man slowly lifted his head. "My son," he said quietly, "I have been traveling all day. I have not eaten anything. Do you have even a small piece of food you could share?" Samuel stopped. He looked down at the small bag in his hands. That food was all he had. If he gave it away, he would sleep hungry. For a moment, the thought crossed his mind to simply apologize and keep walking. No one would blame him. No one would know. But then he remembered his mother's words, "When you have little, share a little." Samuel sighed softly. Slowly, he opened the bag and took out the bread. He handed it to the old man. "Please take it," he said kindly. The old man looked surprised. "You need this more than I do," he replied. Samuel shook his head. "We both need it, but today you can have it." The old man accepted the bread with gratitude and ate slowly. After finishing, he looked at Samuel with thoughtful eyes. "You have a generous heart. Never let the world change that." Samuel simply smiled and continued walking home. That night he slept hungry, but strangely peaceful. The next morning, something unusual happened. A royal carriage entered the village square, surrounded by guards and officials. The villagers gathered in confusion as a messenger announced that the king had come to visit. Moments later, the carriage door opened, and the same old man from the river stepped out. But now he wore royal robes. The villagers gasped. The king looked directly at Samuel and smiled. "I travel my kingdom in disguise," explained the king. "I wanted to see the true hearts of my people." "You were willing to share your last piece of bread with a stranger." The king paused before continuing. "A kingdom needs leaders with hearts like yours." That day, Samuel left the village to study and train in the royal palace. Years later, he became known as one of the kindest and wisest leaders the kingdom had ever seen. And he never forgot the lesson that changed his life. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness opens the door to the greatest destiny. Because when no one else is watching, your choices still matter.